Hi guys, welcome back to She Became Me, where we unleash pain, power, and passion. So I am Lentina Rogers, your host, and my co-host is,
Yolanda J. Brown.
and today, our guest today is
Latasha Walker.
Yep, this is me, Latasha Walker. So Tasha have so many skills and talents, and we're going to be talking to her about today. But her segment title is A Mother's Heart. We just kind of want to walk you through some of the things that she do. She has a really big heart. For one, she's a foster mom, and we want to start off with maybe talking to Tasha about what motivated you to become a foster mom.
What motivated me?
Yeah.
I would say when I was in high school, I had a lot of people around me that were dealing with situations where they were not in the home.
Oh, okay.
My original thought was when I got out of high school, I was going to be a social worker because it seemed like everybody would talk to me about something. But as I got older, I just started to think maybe I should start with foster care.
Okay.
I ended up getting my first placement was a child and her baby. And I was really not wanting to take it because I was like a baby.
Right.
I think I was probably about 28 maybe. And I was gonna have a daughter and a child,
Right.
a grandbaby.
Right, at 28.
I ended up taking him once I saw the picture of the baby. He was so cute.
Yeah.
So I went on and took her and the baby. She's actually just turned 25, I believe.
Oh.
And she's doing well now with her son.
Okay.
And as soon as she left, I got the next placement, which was 2 girls. And I fostered them for 5 years. And I ended up adopting them.
Okay.
So fostering was just
So,
something.
so you became a foster mother, and then you became adoptive mother before you became a natural mother, right?
Yeah, so it happened quickly. It happened quickly. I had never been told that I couldn't have children or anything. I just
Right.
hadn't had them yet.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was the end of August, and I had said, well, I would go ahead and move to adoption because the older child wanted to be adopted.
Okay.
I told the courts I would do it, and then the next month, I was having problems. I thought I had a bladder infection. And when I went in, they told me it was pregnancy. And I was like, okay, so I didn't quite believe them. So a month later, I decided to go ahead and do my follow-up appointment like they told me. And sure enough, I was pregnant. And they sent me for ultrasound, and the first ultrasound, it was twins.
Wow.
So I went from 0 kids to 4 in 365 days.
Wow. Wow. So that was kind of overwhelming. How did you adjust to that just quickly?
It was, the twin part kind of took me by storm because
Right.
we really didn't have twins in our family.
Oh, okay.
And he didn't have twins in his family, and I was just like, why did I get twins? Why me? So, I looked at it as I've always worked early childhood. So in a good day in the infant room, 2 kids was good. You could be in there with 4 by yourself. So I knew I could do 4.
Right.
For at least 8 hours.
Right.
So 2, I was looking at it as a good day. So I approached it differently. I wasn't afraid of it.
Okay.
I've been around kids all my life, so it was really nothing to me.
Okay. And also, I wanted to point out to our viewers that Tasha is one of the contributing artists that She Became Me. And what was your title was in the book, Tasha?
Coming full circle.
Yep, I think that's it. Full circle. That's right. That was a full circle, and I think because you was kind of talking about it was still similar to the social work piece that you feel like that was
Yes.
always there. People, coming to you for advice and feeling comfortable with talking to you about different things. So just wanted to put that out there. She has many skills and talents, as we can see, outside of being a mom.
And so, Latasha, what would you say are the greatest lessons that you learned by being a mother? And because it's it's not always easy, number one, managing parenthood with one child.
Right.
And I'm the mom of an only child, so, you know, and having multiple, so with our theme being family structure, you balance a lot. I mean, so what advice how do you do it, first of all? I mean, because one thing about your story, I mean, you talk about the balancing and the commitment. You have an unyielding commitment as a mother, and that looks different for different women. And so, what makes your family work?
You gotta be committed. So like, right now, I would say you have to think about, it's all about the children now.
Yeah.
What I used to do and what I wanna do and what I should do, I don't worry about it. Long as I get them where they gotta be, and long as I get to what they need, I can worry about myself later.
Right.
So the balancing part that I work out is, I'd like today, I have a full schedule, and my friends wanted me to go to Vegas, and I'm like, if I go to Vegas, can't nobody, cause you know, they was like, well, can't you, I'm like, can't
No.
nobody run the schedule that I run.
Right.
So we had, you just gotta be able to say, you know what, it's not about you anymore.
Yeah.
I was lucky to wait until I was 34
Right.
to even have my children. So I did everything I needed to do.
Yeah.
I did the clubs,
Yeah.
I did
Right.
everything.
Right.
So I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything.
Right.
Right now the goal is just to make sure that I put them in a good position. So where as they get older, they'll know, you know, the rules, and they'll stay on the straight and narrow.
Right.
The reward of it is seeing them blossom
Yeah.
and do things that they may not have been able to do, especially with the foster children.
Right.
One of the children that I had adopted, she was very low performing in school when I first got her. By the time, that was kindergarten, so by the time she got in 4th grade, I got her a tutor and worked on that reading piece. Now she's a junior and she's number 8 in her class.
Wow.
She went from 3 years behind to she's number 8 in her class.
Right.
Wow.
So that's enough for me.
Right. Definitely.
Yes, that's good.
And then, so one of the twins was diagnosed with autism. And so tell us how was that? First of all, getting that diagnosis and then, you know, making a plan of how you was gonna, you know, make sure that he was getting good services.
Well, there's gonna be a whole nother story. But the short version would be, he was showing a lot of issues, like when we would go out to busy places, or when it was time to go, he didn't wanna go. And when we would get there, he would, oh, we gotta go, it's time to go, and he would try to run back to the car, wherever we was at. So he always has had a problem with running out the doors, or he didn't like to be confined. If we were supposed to be in the house, he had something to do. He was very tall, so like from the time he could open up the door handle, he would run. And my mom lives a couple of doors down, and my grandfather lives in the court, so
Yeah.
he would just go.
Yeah.
And he never went away, he just went to the familiar places.
Yeah. Okay.
But the fact that he would grab the handle and go seemed to be a problem. So eventually, as he got into school, he did 2 years of preschool, cried every day, getting dropped off. He did not want to go to preschool. But when he got there, he would go ahead and play along with the children and interact. But when we got to kindergarten, he started having more issues. I tried to go through testing through IPS. IPS didn't want to test. They kept saying nothing was wrong. They wanted me to just sign a mental health paper for them to be looked at for mental health, because they wanted to tell me he was ADHD. Me knowing that he could pay attention and everything else, I didn't want to sign him up for that.
Right.
At one point in time, I believe he was at a grocery store and he jumped out the cart, and I was like trying to get him back in the cart, and he just had a big meltdown. So me and a friend of mine was like, well, maybe let's try, see if he's up there on the autism spectrum. I think we were at a conference, and I was thinking, we was at that sensory conference.
Oh, the one we went to before.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff in that sensory piece kind of spoke to Tyrese, but it didn't, they were saying you can be here and not still be
Right.
on, you know, have autism, or you can have the sensory issue and still be normal with any other thing.
Mhm.
So I said, well, let me just try it. So I made him an appointment for Little Star, and we went out there and we did the test, and I just waited. Within that time, IPS had just done another testing, and they finally said no problems with them. So I told him, well, I had did my own outside testing, and if it comes back, there's an issue, I would need another meeting. From that point, when the test results came back, I set up another meeting. And they used to just keep suspending him because he was walking around. Well, the main thing with autism is they wonder. So it was unfair that they were putting him out for something he couldn't control.
Right.
So what happened from there, I had to come up with a big plan.
Mhm.
So I pulled him out of IPS half a day and put him in the ABA center.
Mhm.
So I had to get some people on my team that could come back and talk to IPS.
Right.
Maybe they would respect them more than they would respect me. So I took him to the ABA center. He went half a day, and IPS half a day. So when it was time to sit down for another meeting, IPS kept saying no, no, no. And the day more people was like, how do you not? How do we have him for 4 hours
Right.
and see all of this? You have him for 4 hours and you saying you see nothing.
Right.
So it was a lot of big meetings, a lot of big people from downtown had to come. And at the end of the day, we got IEP. And from that, with the IEP, I left the school immediately. While the IEP was still getting written for me to sign,
Mhm.
I left and I went to another school. And we've been at that school since then. And it was just about finding the right school that was gonna deal with him with the services that he needed. Which is not much, but
Right.
IPS didn't wanna look at it as autism. For Tyrese, they didn't wanna look at autism, but for Johnny or Tim, they don't mind it. They wanted us to just say, oh, he has a behavior problem, and I wasn't going for it.
So you feel like that it was kind of like a biased type of labeling, you know, for like black boys,
Very.
more so than, okay.
Very
I mean, well,
biased,
that was your experience, that's your reality.
very
so-
biased. And even though, once we got the documents from a doctor, from the whole autism center,
Yeah.
they still said they wasn't gonna give him an IEP or any services because it was medical and not educational. But they was steady putting him out of school every day, so.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, everyone, I hope that just heard that, it's not about any particular school district or anything like that, but every parent can do exactly what Latasha did.
Yeah.
I think advocacy and learning to, know and learn your children, I think is important. And because you have skills that some parents don't have,
Right,
but every parent can advocate.
yes.
And it just takes asking, but being willing to ask the questions and not, and learn for yourself and not
Yes.
necessarily take the word as given to you. I
Yes.
mean, and I know it can be hard though, Latasha, because you know, in working in youth development, there are some parents who say, and I've heard this verbatim,
Mhm.
I send my child to X school so that they will experience people that know more than me, smarter than me, can teach my child things. Some parents look at the educators and
Yeah.
those in these various environments as, because they may not have the background, and that's not, you know, it's not being judgmental, but it's just saying that no matter what, you still have to be willing
Yes.
to learn and ask questions. And so I really applaud you because that ability to stand up for your child in a way and not accept things as you're told. And I just really appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, it all falls into place because with the foster children, where I didn't have any kids and I hadn't had to work with the schools,
Mhm.
those children that I had came across in the years of fostering, mostly everyone that comes in that system has some kind of issue where we always have to go to the school or we always have to have a meeting. And the two that I adopted, I had a lot of meetings with.
Mhm.
So it really kind of just prepared me for my big battle with my own
Right.
son.
That's great.
Right, and, I actually worked with Tasha with, the RAP program because one of her adopted daughter was in that program, and I worked with her family support trainer, and I did habilitation with her adopted daughter. So, yeah, Tasha was always, one of those above, beyond parents. And, from that, Tasha ended up starting a business called Stars Advocate Incorporation because she's willing to help parents that's out there that don't know where to go, what to turn, how much you should be fighting, because of course, sometimes you have to accept it if there's no facts to prove nothing different.
Yeah.
But, you know, Tasha would definitely be a good person, you know, to contact, and helping, you decide, and she'll let you, you know, help you decide if that's probably true or not, if there's something else you could do. But Tasha, where can people reach you for Stars Advocate if they wanted to, you know, get in touch with you about, you know, how should they pursue a IEP or some other things going on with the school?
You can just reach me on my cell phone. My number is 317-652-3685. That's 317-652-3685. Or you can search me on Facebook at Star Advocates, Inc.
Okay, yep, that would be wonderful. Tasha, you also have a photography business, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about that and how people can reach you if they need those services.
So, this photography thing, I kind of just stumbled across it. I always used to take pictures a lot at events and stuff. And I have a lady by the name of Dolores Thornton that has done a lot of work.
Mhm.
And at the time, she was working for the Indiana Herald,
Mhm.
and they needed some help at an event. I think it was Expo or Classic one year. And she usually calls me up for everything.
Mhm.
She thinks I'm Superwoman. So if I'm not, I gotta figure it out. So I went down to do some photos for the Herald once, and I ended up getting a press pass at a young age. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was everywhere with that press pass. And I just started taking more pictures and more pictures, and I was like at the nightclub one night, and it was like $15 for a picture, and I'm like, you know what, I ain't paying another $15. I'm gonna get online tomorrow, I'm gonna see how much this equipment is. I already had the camera, so it was all about getting a backdrop, a stand, and a printer. And that's how I took it. I just went off, and then that next week, I ended up getting a spot, an every week spot,
Okay.
and
Wow.
it just went from there. So I do family photos, and I don't do the clubs too much. It's too much going on out there right now. But if it's a personal party, some private,
Yeah.
I might come and do it.
Like birthday parties, proms,
Birthdays,
and
weddings,
stuff.
and stuff like that.
Okay.
I can do all of that.
Okay. Well, look, you just all around, person, look, and a lot of skills, a lot of talents. So, what we wanna do now is move toward, the sheet mail, part of our segment. And again, sheet mail is the part where we answer questions that our viewers sent in, and we give our perspective. So remember to continue to send those in at shebecameme2020@gmail.com. And we're gonna get started, and we're gonna see, Tasha gonna help us, give some type of perspective here today. Okay. What is a relationship deal breaker for you? What is a relationship deal breaker for you? Go ahead, Tasha, you can go first.
I can't stand a liar. I cannot stand a liar. A liar, if for me, it seems like if you lie to me once, you're gonna do it again. I'm not gonna trust you, so it's best to just go. It's hard for me with my even with my friends and friendships.
Yeah.
And they were like, I'm like, don't even tell me, because if somebody asks me, I don't even wanna have to try to lie.
Right,
So I'd rather you not even tell me.
right,
So, cause I just can't. I'm not a good liar at all.
yeah,
I've been like, I'm more of the straightforward friend. I tell my friends what I gotta tell them,
Yeah.
or whoever, whether they like it or not. I've lost friends because of it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I said what I had to say, and
yeah,
it's over.
yeah. And well, that's more healthy.
Yeah,
That's a
you
healthy
just walk
relationship.
around lying to yourself.
Right,
Cause when you lie to them, you lie to yourself. You gotta keep on lying.
right.
Yeah.
What do you think, Yolanda?
Physical abuse.
Yes, well, definitely. That's a given. That's definitely a deal breaker.
Yeah, I never had that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I would
Well, I agree with what you guys said, and I would like to add emotional abuse as well, because, emotional abuse will sneak up on you. You won't even realize that a person is, abusing you. I think for me personally, if a person just called me out of my name, that's it. I mean, it don't have to be a romantic relationship. It could just be, you know, a platonic friendship. But, you know, calling me out of my name, I just will not tolerate that. So, cause it starts right there, you know, in my opinion, so. But, thanks Tasha for coming by and out of your busy schedule.
Yes.
And, joining us and giving us some information. It was very informative, especially about, you know, everything you went through with, the school system. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that's fighting those battles for whatever reason that, you know, the schools may not want to agree. But, once again, thanks, guys, for stopping by and watching this segment and connecting with us at the heart. Until next time, we'll see you.